Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. The Miami Dolphins are in a complicated and high-stakes situation as their second-round draft. Pick Jonah Savania remains unsigned heading into a critical week of preparation. While most fans are focused on preseason buzz and veterans returning to the facility, a much more subtle yet potentially impactful storyline is unfolding quietly but significantly. Miami's top interior offensive line prospect from the 2025 NFL Draft has yet to put pen to paper. With rookie camp about to open, this delay in his contract could ripple through the rest of the Dolphins' off-season plans. Savania, a powerful and technically sound guard from Arizona, was brought in specifically to address one of the team's most glaring weaknesses: interior line play. The Dolphins made an aggressive move to secure him, trading up in the second round. And yet, despite that investment, he remains one of 29 second-round picks still awaiting final contract details. And this isn't just about dollars. It's about structure. There's something brewing around the league when it comes to rookie contracts, particularly in the second round. While first-round deals are slotted and essentially automatic in terms of guarantees, second-round picks have a little wiggle room, and agents know it. That's where things start to get tricky for teams like the Dolphins. Two second-rounders, Jaden Higgins with the Texans and Carson Schwessinger with the Browns, already secured fully guaranteed deals, bucking the trend of partial guarantees in that round. Naturally, every other second-round pick, including Jonah, Savania now wants a piece of that guaranteed pie. The moment those two contracts hit the books, the negotiation landscape changed across the board. So now we have a standoff, and while it's not officially a holdout, because Savania isn't even under contract yet, it feels like one. He can't attend training camp without a deal period, and Miami doesn't want to blink first. Let's talk numbers, because this isn't some mystery negotiation. We know the math. Savania is set to earn a 4-year rookie deal worth $11.3 million with a signing bonus of $4.9 million. The question is not whether he'll get the money, it's how much of it will be fully guaranteed. The Dolphins want to maintain their internal precedent. They signed the rest of their draft class without issue. Kenneth Grant, Jordan Phillips, Ollie Gordon, Dante Trader Jr., Quinn Ewers, and Zeke Biggers are all in the fold. Grant, as a first rounder, got his fully guaranteed $22 million deal, and no one batted an eye. But giving the same security to a second rounder, no matter how important, creates a new internal standard. If Savania gets it, future second round picks will expect it too. That ripple effect could tie Miami's hands for years to come, so they're understandably hesitant. But while they protect future precedent, the present problem is growing more serious by the hour. Time is ticking. The Dolphins rookies report on Tuesday, and veterans will follow shortly after on July 22nd. That's when training camp truly begins, and when missing reps starts to matter. If Savania doesn't have his contract signed by then, he's not just missing workouts, he's missing valuable time to develop chemistry with the offensive line, learn the playbook, and prove he's ready to start in week 1. The Dolphins didn't just draft him to be a backup or depth piece. They traded up for him because they expect him to start immediately. That's an enormous amount of pressure for any rookie, let alone one who hasn't taken a single snap with the team. Every day missed is a step behind. And while he might be able to catch up, the margin for error on the offensive line is razor thin, especially for a team with playoff aspirations like Miami. Continuity, chemistry, and repetition matter more on the offensive line than almost anywhere else. Let's not forget the context of this Dolphins offensive line. They've been reshuffling the deck for years trying to find the right combination of toughness, technique, and athleticism. James Daniels was signed to shore up the interior. Austin Jackson is coming off a major knee injury. Patrick Paul, while promising, is unproven. This isn't a stable unit. It's a work in progress. Savania was supposed to be a foundational piece to that puzzle, bringing a road grading mentality. That would allow Miami to impose its will in the run game and protect Tua in the pocket. But to become that anchor, he needs to be on the field, not stuck in contract limbo. Right now, every rep he misses increases the odds of a sluggish start, more pressure on Tua, and another year of inconsistency up front. The Dolphins simply can't afford that. The offensive line has held them back before, and they can't let contract disputes hold them back again. Now, here's where it gets interesting. One of Savai'naia's listed agents is Ryan Williams, who also happens to represent Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. That dynamic alone adds another layer of complexity to this negotiation. On one hand, there's familiarity. The Dolphins front office has worked with Williams before, and successfully to get a deal done with their franchise quarterback. But on the other hand, it means this isn't just some greenhorn agent making demands. Williams knows leverage. He knows Miami's offensive line needs help. He knows how vital this pick is. And most importantly, he knows the NFL is watching. If he can get a second rounder, a fully guaranteed deal, it strengthens his reputation and future negotiation power with every client. The ripple effects of this negotiation go beyond the Dolphins. They could impact how rookie deals are structured league-wide moving forward. That's why this is more than just a delay. It's a standoff with wide-reaching implications. But let's be fair, it's not time to panic yet. The Dolphins still have time to get this done before things escalate into a full-blown distraction. If Savai'naia signs before July 22nd, he can still get a solid chunk of practice reps, build rapport with the line, and be in position to start week 1. The Dolphins coaching staff is already preparing contingency plans, of course, but they want Savai'naia in there, especially with so many question marks around other linemen. He was drafted for a reason, to play right away. So while the delay is frustrating, it's not catastrophic. Not yet. However, if we get to late July and there's still no deal, things could snowball. The media spotlight intensifies. The questions in press conferences grow louder, and eventually the tone shifts from when will he sign to why hasn't. He signed. That's not a place any team wants to be when they're trying to build momentum heading into the season. What if this drags even longer? Well, here's where things get speculative but potentially alarming. If Savai'naia chooses to sit out the entire year and re-enter the draft in 2026, the Dolphins get nothing. No compensation, no extra pick, no protection. That outcome is considered highly unlikely. Now, make no mistake, no one is suggesting that's where this is headed. But it's a theoretical possibility that does exist. It's the nuclear option, and it's likely only mentioned in negotiations as a remote threat, but the fact that it even has to be mentioned shows how tense things have gotten. Miami is walking a fine line here. They want to hold their ground on guarantees, but they also don't want to lose a player they desperately need on the field. Every negotiation is a balancing act, and right now both sides are staring each other down, waiting to see who blinks first. The longer it goes, the harder it is to avoid cracks forming behind the scenes. There's also a broader NFL storyline unfolding in the background, adding yet another layer to this contract drama. The NFL and NFLPA are under scrutiny for how they've handled a recent collusion case involving guaranteed money. The allegations suggest that owners may have conspired to suppress fully guaranteed contracts, a hot-button issue that's still simmering as more rookies and agents demand financial security. While it might seem unrelated that case is influencing negotiations like Savai'naia's, agents are pushing harder, teams are pushing back, and second-round picks especially find themselves right in the middle of a shifting landscape. It's no coincidence that nearly every second-rounder remains unsigned. The ripple from that case is real. The NFLPA has an interest in pushing teams to guarantee more money, and if a player like Savai'naia, a projected starter on a high profile team, ends up winning that fight, it sets a powerful precedent. It becomes a blueprint for other agents and players to follow. So what happens next? That's the question everyone in South Florida and across NFL front offices is waiting to see answered. Do the Dolphins stick to their guns and risk a slow start to training camp with one of their most important rookies absent? Or do they meet the demands, give Savai'naia the full guarantee, and absorb the long-term implications? This is a pivotal moment for Miami's front office, one that could define how they handle negotiations moving forward. For fans, it's a test of patience. For Savai'naia, it's about standing firm. And for the rest of the league, it's a case studying where rookie contract negotiations are headed. As the clock ticks toward training camp, the pressure mounts. This isn't just about one player anymore. It's about precedent power and the evolving economics of the NFL. Stay tuned because this saga is far from over. And when that signature finally hits the paper, it might just signal more than the end of a contract standoff. It might signal a new era. Still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments what's your take on the Fins this week. Yeah? It's the kind of news that shakes the NFL to its very core, a potential blockbuster that's got every fan from Minnesota to Miami absolutely buzzing. We're talking about none other than Justin Jefferson, the electrifying superstar wide receiver of the Minnesota Vikings, reportedly landing in Miami today. Yep, you heard that right. The same Justin Jefferson who's been torching secondaries and dancing into end zones might just be on his way to join the Dolphins. Now, it's still unfolding, but the rumor mill is going absolutely wild right now. Several fans have already reported spotting Jefferson at Miami International Airport this morning. And what adds serious fuel to this rumor, he wasn't alone. He was allegedly accompanied by what sources claim looked like his agent and a few Dolphins officials. This could mean absolutely nothing, or it could mean everything. Buckle up because this story is far from over. Let's put this into perspective for a second. We're talking about a 25-year-old receiver who's already being considered one of the greatest talents of this generation. Justin Jefferson isn't just good, he's transformative. He's the kind of player who can take a decent offense and instantly make it elite. So, if he's truly heading to Miami, that could mark one of the most seismic shifts in the NFL this offseason. The Dolphins have been sniffing around big names for a while now. They've made no secret about wanting to take the next step. Tua Tagovailoa has proven he can lead a potent offense. Tyreek Hill is already there. And now, there's chatter that they could be forming the deadliest WR duo in the league. Think about it. Tyreek on one side, Jefferson on the other. That's nightmare fuel for defensive coordinators. This move could change the entire AFC playoff landscape. Now, here's where it gets interesting. From what we're hearing, and again, this is all unconfirmed, but coming from multiple whispers around league circles, the Vikings may have reached a point where a trade made more sense than a record-breaking contract extension. Jefferson's camp was reportedly looking for something in the realm of $35 million per year. That would shatter every wide receiver deal ever made. And the Vikings, as much as they love him, may have balked. Rebuilding isn't off the table for Minnesota, especially with uncertainty at the quarterback position. So the timing lines up. If the Vikings are trying to retool for the future, cashing in on Jefferson now while his value is sky high, might just be their best strategic move. Painful for fans, no doubt, but from a front office standpoint, possibly smart. If the deal is real, that's the logic behind it. The Dolphins, on the other hand, aren't playing it safe. They want to win now. Mike McDaniel has crafted a creative high-speed offense that's just a piece or two away from true championship contention. Adding Jefferson to that mix could make them Super Bowl favorites overnight, and you've got to give Miami credit. They're not shy about making big splashes. Pun fully intended. They did it with Tyreek Hill. They've built up a young, aggressive defense. They've backed Tua despite all the noise. And now, if this Jefferson trade becomes official, they might just be the boldest front office in football. Can you imagine those Miami home games? Jefferson and Hill taking turns torching corners, Tua dishing dimes, and that South Florida crowd losing their minds every Sunday. It sounds like a fever dream. But we might be watching it become reality in real time. Another piece of the puzzle, as Jefferson's social media activity. Just last night, eagle-eyed fans noticed that he removed any mention of the Vikings from his Instagram bio. Coincidence? Maybe. But considering he's touching down in Miami the next day, it's hard not to connect the dots. NFL players these days are savvy about how they drop hints, and Jefferson might be playing that game right now. He hasn't posted anything confirming or denying the rumors, which in today's world says a lot in itself. Silence is loud. And if you ask me, his lack of comment is telling. Players often clean their bios or make subtle tweaks right before a major move. Could it be misdirection? Sure, but with everything else aligning, the airport sighting, the rumored meetings, the timing, it feels like something big is brewing behind the scenes. Let's also talk compensation, because a player like Jefferson doesn't come cheap. Word on the street is that the deal, if finalized, could involve multiple first-round picks, a veteran starter, and possibly even cap maneuvering with other contracts. Miami would be going all in, sacrificing a chunk of future flexibility for a win-now shot at glory. And while that sounds risky, it's the kind of move that championship teams make. You don't get chances like this every day. If you believe in your quarterback and your system, and you're just one piece away. You swing big. Some insiders are saying Miami might part ways with a defensive starter like Christian Wilkins or even cornerback Xavier Howard as part of the package. Painful, yes. But for Justin Jefferson, that's the price of elite talent. If it's true, Dolphins fans should get ready for a wild ride. Of course, we have to talk about how this would reshape the NFC and AFC landscapes. The Vikings would instantly drop out of playoff contention, at least in the short term. Jefferson has been their offensive engine since he was drafted. Losing him would mean a complete redefinition of their identity. They'd likely go into rebuild mode, especially with Kirk Cousins no longer in the picture. On the flip side, the AFC East just became an all-out war zone. The Bills, Jets, and Patriots already had their hands full dealing with Miami's speed. Now, they might be staring down the fastest receiving core in NFL history. It's almost unfair. The Dolphins are pushing their chips to the center of the table. And if they pull this off, they won't just be contenders. They'll be favorites. Every coach in the AFC is already sweating over this possibility. And we haven't even touched on the culture fit. Justin Jefferson in Miami makes sense. He's got the charisma, the swagger, and the play style that screams South Beach. He's a showman, a headline maker, the kind of player who thrives under the bright lights. And Miami has plenty of those. Imagine the marketing opportunities, the jersey sales, the locker room vibe. He'd mesh perfectly with guys like Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. And you can bet he'd love playing in McDaniel's creative offense. It's not just about football, it's about brand. Jefferson would become the face of the Dolphins immediately. And you better believe he knows that. For a player who's built his identity on excellence and energy, this could be a dream move. And the Dolphins, they get the biggest star in the NFL not named Patrick Mahomes. This might be about to get very, very real. Now here's where things could get spicy. League officials have neither confirmed nor denied any pending trade, which by itself means something's up. Normally, front offices rush to squash rumors if they're false. But in this case, radio silence, that's often a telltale sign. The Dolphins haven't issued a single statement. The Vikings are avoiding press inquiries. It's all hush-hush. And that only adds to the intensity of this moment. Something's happening. Maybe the paperwork is being finalized. Maybe negotiations are still ongoing. But either way, the momentum is undeniable. Journalists, insiders, and NFL insiders are circling this story like sharks. If we wake up tomorrow and see a Adam Schefter tweet confirming it, I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest. Buckle up, folks. The NFL offseason just got turned on its head. And Justin Jefferson might be the one flipping the script. So where does that leave us right now? Honestly, we're in uncharted territory. A player of Jefferson's caliber doesn't switch teams often. And if this move to Miami becomes official, it'll be remembered as one of the boldest in league history. But for now, it remains a swirling storm of rumors, sightings, silence, and speculation. One thing's for sure, all eyes are on Miami. Fans are refreshing Twitter, reporters are dialing their sources, and Dolphins Nation is on the edge of their seat. Whether it's finalized today, tomorrow, or fizzles out entirely, this story has legs. And the NFL just got a whole lot more interesting. If you're a Dolphins fan, now might be the time to dream big. And if you're a Vikings fan, well, keep your fingers crossed. Because whether it's a new era or a temporary distraction, the name on everyone's lips today is Justin Jefferson. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.